just to recap and set the stage, here, there's a couple of screens I'm going to go in between. Here on the left-hand side is what we call our admin console. It's the UI for configurability and observability of your Text-to-SQL APIs being called on Dataherald. Here on the right-hand side is a simple Google Colab notebook where I'm going to make a few API calls and show you how things happen. And then finally, I'm going to bring up Langsmith when the agent is working to kind of show you inside the agent the steps that it's taking. Here, for the purpose of this call, I have two databases that are connected here. I'm going to use V2 Real Estate, which is a database of US real estate data. There's a lot of tables here, but the main thing I want to show to you is you can add instructions, and you can do this either through the UI or through the API. And these are going to be instructions that are automatically going to be added into the prompts if they're relevant to the question. So for example, I have an instruction that says, always filter by property type in the where clause if the requested property type is unclear from the question set to all residential. So there's data for apartment prices, single family prices, and then there's all residential. If someone doesn't specify what property type they want, it defaults to all residential. Similarly, one thing that we do, and because we skipped the architecture itself, let's talk about it here. When we connect to the database, we don't just look for the tables and column names and view names. We also identify low cardinality columns, because categorical columns is one area where people oftentimes semantically, people ask about condo prices, but things are stored as apartments. And the tool need to basically be able to match those. So if I come here to state abbreviation, you can see it knows that it's a categorical column, and these are all the categories. So if I ask about California, it knows that, okay, I'm going to set this to CA. That's what he's talking about. And then you can add instructions. I showed you database instructions, but you can also add them either at a table level or at a column level as well. These are both used for schema linking. So if you have a column name that's not very English descriptive, you don't have to go actually change your database to get your NL to SQL to work. If it's named poorly, you can just come here and say, this is the table that has information about this. Use it if the question is about this. And it will know to do that. So here's the list of queries, so questions that have been asked before from the tool. I think this one, let me just bring up, what is this? Let's say median sale price of townhouses. Let's bring a sample question. Then we have a lot of queries now on this organization. Median sale price of townhouses in San Ramon. So this is the query. One thing I just want to show you here is you can, as these questions come in, you can mark them as verified here directly from the UI. What this does is it adds it to the set of training data, the golden SQL that I was talking about. So a lot of times folks use the tool itself to bootstrap the kind of training data, and those really increase the accuracy of the agent itself. And then fine tuning with a single API call, you can fine tune a model and then automatically pick to choose it if you want when you're doing your inference or not. But I said a lot, so let me switch to here, and these are our docs. They're linked from our website, but then they kind of give you a lay of the land of how to get started. You basically, I'm going to set my API key here. Everything that I showed you on the UI is also available programmatically through the API. So if I want to just get the list of the two databases that were connected there, V2 Real Estate is what we're going to use. The golden SQL, if you want, right now there's only two golden SQL here. But I'm going to skip all the other ones and come straight in the purpose of time. So this is the same question about San Ramon, California. But if I just execute this here, the main thing I want to show you is if I come to Langsmith, the agent here, so it's not like we're just a single shot wrapper of GPT. There's a pretty complex agent. In this case right now, I am using a fine-tuned model, because if you look here, I've use this fine-tuning ID. It first tries to pass, it uses the fine-tuned model to try to generate the SQL, and it gets this back. And afterward, it checks to see, okay, you had all of these instructions. Make changes to make sure if it's not actually doing anything here. It executed the query and got a value back. If it errored out here, it would try to recover from it. If it got no values here, it try to adjust it further. And then finally it says, okay, I know the answer because it looks correct, and then it returned the SQL here to the user.